Welcome back, everybody. Like the title of the video says, we're going to be talking about unity in the preparedness communities. And let me just hit on the basics that are self-evident, but I'm just going to go ahead and briefly touch on them. I get that a lot of y'all are worried, depressed, scared. Hashtag bad negative feeling here, okay? So let me just get that out there in the ether. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just trying to point out factuality so we can, have them in the ether, and then we can continue to talk about what it is that I want to talk about with you guys today. So I understand a lot of you guys have all those feels, right? I also understand that there are a lot of conspiracy theories that are going around, everything from the Insurrection Act that apparently didn't happen or apparently is going to happen March 4th to, clones and all this other fucking bullshit, right? So I realize that there are lots of different people and lots of different spectrums when it comes to preparedness. And for some reason, there's this huge call for unity. Personally, I don't know what that means. Maybe somebody can explain to me. I don't understand what that message is. It makes no sense to me. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist. I don't think it takes me or anybody else for that matter to, state that, it's maybe not a bad idea to have some water storage on hand, have some food storage on hand, and have a way to, charge your cell phone and a headlamp, what have you, right? Whatever sustainability and preparedness means to you, I don't think it's controversial, and I don't think it's beyond the pale, and I don't think, like I said, it's common sense. It's common sense that those might not be bad ideas. Outside of that, though, I don't know what the unifying message is, because it's clear that there are people out there that are spewing all sorts of nonsense. And for some reason, people have taken that as a precedence to say, well, just because they have a difference of opinion than you, that doesn't mean that you're allowed to have your own opinion, or you're not allowed to say anything, because we're supposed to be in some kind of unity arrangement. And also, with that being said, they like to throw this religious Christian narrative in there, which, again, for the life of me, I can't understand. I don't understand the precedence for that. And so I think it goes without saying that, for example, I've called out many preppers out there, influencers, everybody from, realistically, the Angry Prepper, Prepper Now, Prepper Nation, Magic Prepper, Alaska Prepper, pretty much all the preppers. I've called out inaccuracies, Ice Age Farmer. I've called out things that have just been blanketed lies, right? So if I can empirically prove it wrong, and I know that it's a falsehood and that it's a lie, I go ahead and I call it out. Now, with that being said, does that mean that I'm against unity? No, but then again, what does that mean? I'm all for accountability, and if I get something wrong, please call me out on it. That's what we should be doing, And as far as the religious narrative goes, I think personally, Matthew 7 says everything. Let's start with Matthew 7, verse 10, where it talks about, you wouldn't give your son, right? It uses the father-son example. You wouldn't give your son a serpent and say it's a fish, right? You wouldn't give him a piece of loaf of bread. You wouldn't give him a rock and say it's a loaf of bread, right? And if you continue to read on in that verse, it talks about that those are wrongs. And even evil people know how to treat their own family, right? They can treat their own family with respect. It talks about that. And then it also talks about, treat others the way you would want to be treated. It talks about, if you continue reading down, it talks about false prophets, knowing them by their fruit, right? So I don't see how there is a Christian perspective or narrative that would say we have to allow all people to lie, openly lie, right? And we're not even talking about theology here within the Christian ranks. We're talking about people that are openly going out there and spreading falsehoods. You're talking about people that are openly going out there and spewing lies, spewing things that we know to be factually incorrect, and we can empirically prove that they're factually incorrect. I don't see anywhere where it says in the Bible that would be wrong to, say no, that's a lie. I don't see where that message is. And if you could show me, I'd be more than happy to look at it. Please prove me wrong. But I don't see how, like I said, calling out blanketed lies are a bad thing. I don't even see how that's controversial if I'm being 110% honest with you. Now, we can have differences of opinion, for example, on sustainability, preparedness. Obviously, if you watch, my videos, I definitely think that the sustainability model of preparedness is the most efficient and ultimately is the most ironclad way of preparedness. But I get it. There are other people that are the conspiracy theorist preppers. You have the keyboard warrior preppers. You have this bushcraft preppers. And then you have what a majority of people are. You have the hoarding, stockpiling preppers. Those are all just different models of preppers that we see based upon sociology, psychology, and ideology. I mean, those three factors make up each one of those category of preppers. So, like I said, I think it's goes without saying, right, that, preparedness as a whole, I think it's uncontroversial to say it's not a bad idea to have extra food, extra water, and, like I said, a way to charge your headlamp and cell phone no matter what. I don't think that's controversial. I don't think that that's, a bad thing. But outside of that, I don't understand what the unifying message is. If you're expecting me to just openly be quiet on, things where people are creating blanketed falsehoods and lies that have real life consequences, like people really thinking that Trump is still in office, or thinking that there's some kind of presidential clones running around, or thinking that that there's a military coup in the US, or thinking about the fact that the Insurrection Act has been signed and we're just waiting for, secret indictments. It's not helpful. They're lies. They're not helpful. They're factually and empirically incorrect. And I don't see how calling them what they are is an ununifying message. And I'm unapologetic for that being my stance. I am. And like I said, there's no amount of shaming. There's no amount of guilt tripping. There's no amount of dislikes. There's no amount of threats that somebody's going to be able to spew at me. It's going to make me change my mind on that. Then again, I'm speaking from a place of privilege because I am insulated from that reality. Like I've told you guys before, I don't have Wi-Fi here. Everything that I do, I have to do here, and then I have to go to my nearest city and upload it. So by the time I even realize that there's, a huge outlash against me, it might be a couple days. Who knows? So there you have it. I don't understand what this unifying message is. Nobody's made that clear. And if you think that, the unifying message or unity is simply letting people spew whatever nonsense they want unchecked, well, then I guess I'm not part of that. I'm not going to be a part of that movement because that's absolutely and utterly ridiculous. And I think that's uncontroversial. And like the Bible says, I want to be treated with, I want other people to treat me the way I treat other people. If I'm lying, especially if I'm lying about something as egregious as presidential clones, insurrection acts, military coups, and without rule of law incidences that apparently we're on the precipice of, yes, please, it is your duty to call me out. Well, that's all I have for you guys. Hope the video was helpful. As always, guys, long live the Republic.